announcements that just dropped, which was Search GPT. This is something we've been waiting for quite some time, and I think will be really disruptive to the search interface and how consumers are finding your businesses and your brands. So let's take a look and test it out. Let me share my screen really quick. We've already started to see some of these challenges as it pertains to kind of divided search volume to platforms like Perplexity. And now with ChatGPT rolling out their version, we're going to see how they compare. So we're going to go ahead and use one of the defaults. So when you log into your ChatGPT, you just click on the search piece and highlight it. So just like you would for a uploaded file, you just click on this and it'll provide some additional information. Similar to what we've seen in Perplexity, you do have the kind of hovers where you can kind of get that information. We're going to test the same prompt in Perplexity to kind of compare some of the differences. But really, overall, really functional, really well done. You still do have your sources that you can kind of pull into and give you the full search results. If we were to ask that same question in Perplexity, so we're going to go ahead and do Pro, which is actually using advanced voice reasoning right now. So polls for the presidential race. So this will be pulling in all of that information for us, similar to what we just saw in ChatGPT. So slightly, very similar. The format is slightly different, where you're kind of getting the same kind of things here. It is saying that national average is doing more of a narrow 3-point lead. It is giving you some of the specifics by state, which is what we saw here as well. But in this one, you're getting a little bit more specificity of what the actual percentages are, which is really nice. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Kind of different noticeable trends, key factors. So this goes a little bit further in terms of logic. The one feature that I do like about Perplexity that I don't see in ChatGPT and Search GPT is the ability to search videos, search images from these, or that's generating an image. So those aren't having, I guess there aren't any with these. So let's try something else that might have one. Let's do one really simple. So we'll go back to ChatGPT 4.0. I'm going to go to a new chat and I'm going to ask for what are some tips to give my kids to trick or treat safely this evening. So what we'll do is, like I mentioned earlier, you hit that search kind of globe to ensure that it's actually going to kind of pull in some of the Bing results. So this is giving us all the information, sourcing pretty reputable sites, which is great. Child safety is coming through here, general safety. And then we have our sources on the left in terms of all the citations, which is pretty awesome. Now, if we do the same question in Perplexity, so let's ask that same question in Perplexity. We'll ask a new thread. And let's see what we get here. Probably pretty much the same, slightly different layout, giving some sectioned ideas in terms of how we chunk this in terms of different types of costume safety, pedestrian safety, candy safety, all of those different pieces. I do like in the functionality that you can pull up videos and or images, which are really helpful. There is slight variations in different types of platforms that they're pulling in terms of references. But I do hope to see that within Search GPT that they start to roll this out so that if you're wanting more of a visual or auditory learner, that you're able to kind of watch a video in terms of the content that you're looking for. The one thing that I've discovered about Search GPT that I really enjoy is twofold. One is the ability to tap into more of a local strategy. So let's think about pediatrician. I am looking for a pediatrician in the Heights area of Houston. So this is actually starting to pull in local stats and information. It's also bringing in a map listing, which I think is really amazing. Something that we're not really seeing on the Perplexity side. And then we have all of our sources over here. So it is kind of nice that you get those. And then as you click on each different location, if you will, you kind of get a little bit more information. You can get the directions, website, and call. Honestly, I've been using Perplexity pretty exclusively instead of Google, but now with some of this, we're going to start seeing that come to life. So let's ask that same question in Perplexity and see what happens there. So let's do a new thread and let's see what we get back. I've found historically that Perplexity has struggled when we get into hyper local content and kind of really balancing that out. Um, so we'll see. It's starting to pull in from Yelp, which is great. It does have a slight map view, but not really that strong, giving you more of the answers, not as like kind of intuitive in terms of that UX UI experience, but still pretty valid here. I don't missing the, direct click to call directions, kind of removing some of those friction points. So I think Search GPT has won kind of that battle between GPT and Perplexity because it is kind of being a little bit more localized, which is really wonderful. The other thing I really enjoy about ChatGPT's Search GPT is the integration into actual building of your own custom GPTs. So if I were to create a new GPT, or let's just modify one for the essence of time. So let's go to 10K. I'm going to edit this one. This is one that I've developed to help analyze 10K reports for companies. So let me edit this, edit GPT. And when I'll go to the create side. I'm going to say, all business students. So let's see if that comes through. It's interesting. This is an older one and it won't allow me to use the Search GPT. So what we can do is let's try a different one. We'll just create one from scratch so you can see it. I did this earlier. So if we go to Explore GPTs, we'll go to Create. Helps me with, we'll make this fun, 5 jokes for my 6-year-old son that I can use every day. So we might have, what are some tips for telling jokes to young kids? So it will go ahead and search the web and be able to provide that response. I was getting able to work earlier. So I'm surprised to see that this is having troubles now. But what was really great, just as this has been released within the last like 20, 30 minutes, just kind of give you an overview of what it included, is it was able to bring in that content. And then I was able to say, okay, this is helpful, add this to the instruction space. So let's just try it again. I'll just go back and forth. I'm going to do a different one. Let's see. We're going to call this Joke GPT. And we're going to go over here and then I'm going to go to, let's go to my GPTs. Oh, here we go. My GPTs over here. Edit this one again. We're going to go to create tips for telling jokes. And we're going to remove the kid piece out of it because that might be something that's throwing it off in terms of a safety measure. So let's go ahead and add that. And so this will be tips for telling jokes for kids. So you'll be able to see that it's pulling in the content, which is really wonderful. And so then you can just say, please add this to the instructions. We'll add that to the instructions. So I try to share these tips as they come out when it comes to new technology. We've been hearing rumors of Search GPT and knowing it was being released to beta, but now it's released wide scale. So I hope you give it a try. I really think this is going to be a huge disruptor, and your business needs to start really thinking about how do we focus on search engine experience as it pertains to generalized or generative search, right? So when people start utilizing tools like Perplexity more, and we're starting to see an increase in tools like Search GPT, how does your business really adapt for that? What are some of the tactics and strategies that you do to ensure that you're not going to lose out on that much needed search volume?